Hello, 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 everybody. And what a great time it is for us. Woo. Just beautiful windfalls, it's beautiful blessings. And man, that's all I can really say right now. But I want to go to a couple scriptures today. And one of the things that I know is that, you know, God works in mysterious ways. God is so big, he works in so many ways to where if you try to lock him into a single way that he's working and try to base like a religion off of it, you'll be wrong about God every time because he's so much bigger than just how we view him. We can never, as humans, we have a brain that can never really understand God at his level. We're talking about a God in the Bible. He describes himself as all knowing. He describes himself as everywhere at once. And he's so powerful. He's so powerful. He does everything. But I just want you guys to know a little bit about how he works. Because I feel like some people want to make a lot of money and they're godly people. And there's different rules for making money for godly people than for making money and being on the other side. The other side wants you to get money quick. They want you to end up falling. They want the money and the talents that they're giving you to hold you down to it to where it's like a burden on you. It's if anybody ever learned about witchcraft growing up, and I'm not just talking about the candles and the backward stuff and all this stuff like that. I'm just saying like there's a way that where you're selfish, you make money, but it's not for God. And your soul is on the line for that. But let's go to Proverbs 19:17. And it says, whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. And I love the next verse off of that. Or let's just go to the verse before it. Whoever keeps commandments keeps their life, but whoever shows contempt for their ways will die. And this is so true because this is what always happens. When you're not keeping the commandments, it might look like you're really good on the outside, but on the inside, you're dying all day long. Discipline your children, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. See, if we don't discipline our children, if we don't teach them about God, if we don't lead them in the right direction, where it says if you lead them in the right direction as a kid, they'll always turn back to it. But sometimes, we're not capable of doing that or we don't understand it yet. And, a lot of us make mistakes with our kids. Probably everybody in the whole world does. But there's a key to keeping the commandments. And the commandments are to love God. Jesus broke it down. He said the commandments are two: to love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And number two is to love your neighbor as yourself. And so he's saying, like, keep that commandment to love God, number one, and love everybody else like yourself. And then what would you do for people that are poor? Well, if you love somebody that was poor like yourself, that's what you're working for. So you're not poor. So we have a command and an obligation to help out the poor, not to look down on the poor and say, you're poor, it's your fault. Some of us might have been raised like that, to think, homeless people is their fault. They're drug addicts. They're this, they're that. This is why they're there. But see, Jesus has a solution to the poor. Jesus has a solution to the brokenhearted. Jesus has a solution. So he's saying, reach out to those people and explain me to them. Tell me about them. Guide them to me. There's different gifts that each of us possess from God to lead people to the right way, to lead people to understand commandments, to lead people to love people like God loves us. It's one thing to say you love God and go around and say, man, I love God, I put him first. But he's saying in the Bible, it says, if you truly love God first, then number two, it's not even like Jesus was giving us two commands. It's like he gave us one command because he said to love God with everything and choose every way of God. And then he says the second one is just like it. So it's the same thing to love your neighbor as yourself. Because why? Because God loves everybody. It says that God doesn't have favoritisms on earth. Whew. Let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke 6:38. So we were just in the Old Testament and Proverbs. Now we're in the New Testament after Jesus came. And it says in Luke 6:38, Jesus is talking to us. Anytime you're in the Bible and it's a red letter Bible, which is always a Bible I believe you should get, because then you know right away when Jesus is speaking. In the red letter Bibles, every time Jesus speaks, sometimes when even, Jesus is God, and sometimes, Father God in the Old Testament, they'll put red letters on everything he says too. Because these are very, very important words. These are straight from the source. They don't have any personality on top of it. They don't have any the way the human's thinking, and then God puts it into them to write it the way. Everything is inspired by Jesus, but there's the red words that are from God, straight to the point and very powerful. So let's go to Luke 6:38. Luke 6:38 says, "Give and it will be given to you." So the first thing you have to do is give and it will be given to you. God made that a universal law. And that's why you got to give what? Your time to make money. You got to give your talents to make money. You got to give your ideas to make money. You got to give something out of you to help others. And that's the way that you actually make money. There's a lot of top personal growth coaches. There's a lot of people that crack that code and they just say, this is how the world works. This is how the universe works. This is how, they discredit God. There's a movie called The Secret, and I was watching The Secret way back in the days when it first came out. I remember it came out. My brother bought the video, and it was like the newest thing. And we were down in our movie theater in Atlanta, and we invited all our friends to come over and over and over again to watch this movie. And I was sitting there and saying, man, they're just replacing God with the universe. On the video, they had like a genie saying stuff. And one of the concepts was this right here. When you give, the secret is to give out and you give back. Give out the things that are in your brain and then you give back. One of my mentors said, the more problems you solve, Lonnie, the more you'll make. And it's so true. If you look at Apple, one of the biggest companies ever, it's like they solved what problem? They solved technology, making it super simple for everybody, and they bought out the iPhone, or they have earphones and laptops and everything like that. Let's look at another company that's really big, Tesla. What they solved? They solved people saving on gas through Tesla cars. Let's look at Nvidia, the number one company right now in the world. It overpassed Apple, the biggest company, the first one to get to like $4 trillion. And what did they solve? They solved the new problem that's cutting edge. Anytime you solve the newest problem that's cutting edge, you're going to make more than anything before you. And that's why, first it was Bill Gates that saw the problem of getting on the internet and using computers, right? He was the biggest guy ever. One of the biggest guys ever right now, we can go over like the top, let's say 3 or 4 people in the world, the richest people that we know of, right? We know that also there's kings in other countries that have way more money than these than American people that own these companies. We know there's people that have been making money with their family from oil in their country, or guys in Africa doing cement, just are people that are holding lots of amounts of gold and things like that. But if we think about like the number one richest person in the world, we could talk about Tesla, but then he's not just solving Tesla, he's also solving the problem to go to space for cheaper. So the government gives him money to do that. He has, AI stuff. So the government money gives him to do that. We call him Elon Musk. Let's go over, number two right now. I believe the guy that created Louis Vuitton, and he's been buying up all these other designer name brands and things like that. That guy is super rich. What did he solve? He solved the problem that people want to wear his clothes. People want to, have this prestigious look, so they buy his clothes. We look at Warren Buffett, one of the grandest of them all. He saw the problem. He made it easy for people to invest into him by buying stocks that he buys. He goes out and buys like Heinz ketchup and different big companies with his billions and billions of dollars that he made from trading and different things like that. And he goes out and buys these big companies, and then we could buy the companies and people can make a lot of money with dividends and different things like that. So he's solving their financial problems. That's why he's one of the biggest people. We already talked about Bill Gates, but there's these people that are at the top of the line, and they're solving a lot of problems for people. Even the kings in different countries, the ones that make a lot of money are the ones that are stable, because you could be a bad king and you could be taken down. You could be taken down, but let's say, the kings of Saudi Arabia, they've been, peaceful for so many years. They make so much money. And what do? They bring security to their nation, to their people. And that is the problem that they're solving. And it was always the kings in the past that were solving these problems, or conquerors or prime ministers or whoever it was way back in the days before they kind of put these blocks on how, presidents can make money and everything. So this is the way that you're going to think in your brain how you can make money. You're going to solve problems. Some of us have been adapted to American society to where we don't want to solve problems, right? We just want to get everything to us. We want to get the next great idea. We want to put our money in something that's the next great idea. And there's no problem we solve, right? And with this academy, we got to solve problems. We got to watch videos. We got to watch videos and learn how to trade. Like, if I wanted to really make money trading and I was a part of this academy, I would watch all the videos first. I would probably watch all the videos before I even called Lonnie and said, man, do a one-on-one with me. Because I would feel a little embarrassed. At least I would watch like half of the videos, or maybe 25% of the videos, or I would have like the video counter to where I did like 15% or something in a short amount of time, so that I could ask some questions on the videos, because I want to put my energy into this. I would be on every call. I wouldn't miss. I go live 3 times a week for an hour. I would be on every call, because a lot of us are Americans. We always want the short step. We always want, I was in Africa this year. I went on a safari. I went on all this stuff for like a week and a half. I was in Africa, and it changed my mind about how this world works. Because in Africa, the guy that was driving me in a safari truck had 2 master's degrees. He knew 5 different languages. This guy was one of the smartest people in the world, and it was like he was my Uber driver. And then we had somebody over, the Uber drivers basically in these safari trucks, and he knew how to drive the truck, because what? He came from that. He knew how to speak 10 languages. Why? Because he's been doing it for 30 years. So they gave him bigger money because he saw bigger problems. He knew, one of the only people in the world, this guy is one of the best tour people in the world. He knew where the animals were. Everybody was riding around trying to find animals. This guy said, I know where this leopard's going to be. That was the most hardest animal to find, was leopards, because there's not a lot of them. And they're so unique. And they live up in trees. Just imagine you see a lion in a tree, like hanging out on a branch. This guy knew where they were at. This guy knew where the pack of lions were, where everybody else was calling my guy, and all these trucks were going by saying, hey, where are they at? Where are they at? My guy was like, man, I'm going to tell him after I get there. And I was like, well, why don't I just tell him right now? He was like, if I tell them before we get there, there'll be 40, 50 trucks there and we won't even be able to see it. And they'll run them away because they're too loud. And so this guy made more money than everybody because he had everything figured out on this, because he's been doing it for 30, 40 years. And so what are you going to dedicate your time? People that are barbers, that are the best barbers, guess what? They're really learning how to be a barber. People that are the best teachers. When I was a teacher, I didn't want to be just a regular teacher in San Diego. I was mentored by lots of teachers, asking them what to do, until I found out a lot of teachers are super negative and they just want to go to work, get a paycheck, and go home. And they didn't really want to create change. But I want to create change. The principal started giving me all the bad kids in my class, all the bad girls, all the bad. And they would tell me, this person's so bad, Lonnie. And they would give me warnings and write reports to me. And they would get in my class and I would throw away that report. I wouldn't even read it. And I would meet the person myself, and that person, just me and them would like bond as a kid and teachers. And then they would be something totally different. They would say, hey, that kid's bad, huh? You've been in there for a month. How many problems? How many referrals? None. That kid's actually learning now. And so they gave me an award and sent me out. The Navy actually came and gave me a reward. I was the only one at the school. There was like 3 teachers in San Diego and 3 administrators and like 1 principal. And we all got flown out to an aircraft carrier. In the middle of the ocean, we got flown out to an aircraft carrier. It was the craziest experience of my life. It was called the Embark. But these are the things, like, if you really want to win, see, there's people that win. My mentor always taught me, he said, there's people that win in everything they do, because they have the mindset that they're going to come in and fix the problem. They're going to come in and make the program better. They're going to come in and put their time in. And then he said, there's some people that bounce around everywhere. And I said, well, why do people always bounce around to everything? And he said, a lot of people bounce around because they're trying to find the easiest opportunity. They're trying to find the way to not do anything, but put their money up. And so I challenge everybody to say, what kind of person am I? Am I the person that's going to find out? Because Manuel, he just texted in our WhatsApp group, man. Manuel, I could tell that he's been figuring out a lot of stuff. He's a international banker, and he wanted to learn how to trade. And he got in the first time, and he paid like his subscription, like probably 8 months, and never really used the program. And that was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. And then he reached out back to me and said, Lonnie, now is the time. I have time to do this. I really want to do it. I really wanted to do it before, but the timing didn't work out. So he got in again, and now he's watching the videos. He's using the bots. He's asking questions. But he doesn't even do one-on-ones that much. I think we only did 2 one-on-ones, and it's been like maybe 2 months since he's been in this program now. And he's trading, and he's doing so magnificent. It's crazy. The questions he has is he doing good enough? I mean, he shows me like he was 90% of trades. I was going over it with him. He was like, man, I don't know. I could do better, Lonnie. And I'm like, brother, you're doing like 80, 90% and you're winning all this money. What do you, in my mind, I'm like, man, you're so advanced to what you should be at. Pablo showed me. He said, Lonnie, look at this right here. I put in 1,500 in this account. I saved up. I got this account to trade with, and I made 4,500 in 30 days. See, Pablo's been with me for a while, and it all started clicking, and now he's making money. And there's lots more stories like that. There's lots more stories like that. But my point is, when you get into a program, when you get into academy, when you get into something that can make you a lot of money, there's no complaining. There's no not being ready. There's no, I'm not going to come on in the morning. I'm not going to watch your videos, but I don't understand what it's doing. And so you got to tell me what it's doing one-on-one, because I'm not going to be able to do one-on-ones all day long. I'm just a human. Like, my one-on-ones really are like videos that I already made. So how much are you willing to put in to this academy so where you could take out so much out of this academy? Because if people are winning and I'm winning all the time, I think you can too. I actually know you can if you have the right mindset. Let's go to Luke 6:38. Give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. See, and I feel like this is the number one key, at least in our American society. Yeah, I love America. I'm American, I'm not putting down America. I'm just saying America is what they call the microwave society, to where everybody wants stuff really quick. You get it from your kids. When your kids want stuff really quick, they want all the technology, they want all the video games, they want everything, right? I mean, when I gave my kids their cell phones back in the days, people say, well, you're giving it to them, they're too young. I think I gave my kids cell phones at 12 years old. And people were saying, well, you're giving it to them. Well, I needed a source to call my kids where they're at so I could pick them up. But I made my kids read Proverbs every day. Whatever day it was, you need to write a report about it first for the first couple months. And you needed to text your dad to use your phone. You needed to text your dad what you learned from the Bible verse. Then when I came and talked to you, I wanted to know what you learned from the Proverbs. Well, I knew Proverbs would give my kids wisdom. So I made them read it to use their phone, because the phone is a privilege. It's not just something that every other kid has. Dad, I need it. No, that's not good enough for me. I don't base everybody has designer clothes, Dad. Guess what? If you want designer clothes, you got to get straight A's. You got to put in the maximum amount of effort to get something from your dad. And this is what I believe creates a society where people will go hard. People will try their best. People will come up with ideas and they'll know how to expand their ideas. I told both of my kids, I said, I need you to go to college. Why? We don't even need college, Dad. You already broke that bond for us. I didn't tell my kids go to college to get a job. I said, go to college so you can run your own business. Go to college. See, college isn't to just get a job. I told my kids, college is a place that teaches you how to solve problems. And that's all I want you to be able to do. I want you to be able to go to college and be able to solve problems. And then if you ever have a problem, and I used to tell them, I said, because one day you're going to get married to a husband and a wife. And I said, a lot of people give up on their husband and their wife because they don't know how to solve problems. They don't know how to attack a problem, and they look at the problem like everything's the problem. I said, I want you to look at the problem like there's a solution and get to the solution. That's what college teaches you how to do. Why? Because it teaches you to solve the problem. To what you need to learn, you need to read books. You need to have understanding. You need to be taught by a mentor, a teacher. So go to college so you understand how to win in life. But it's all out here in the Bible too. The same things that make people successful and the way they bring up their kids and the things that they do with them are the same things that the Bible is leading us to all the time. Give your time, give your energy, give your resources, and it will be given to you. Give all you got to the Lord, and the Lord will give you more. He'll measure it up. How much are you really trying? Have you ever thought about somebody and they're asking you to do all this for them? And it's probably a family member. They're like, man, help me out with money. Help me out with this. But then you look back after years of helping them, and then you ask them to help you, and then they can't help you. Everybody's been let down like this. Somebody asks you to borrow money and their obligation is to pay you back, and they don't pay you back. So you got to give. You can't just be a receiver. You can't just always be somebody with their hand out. You know, and some people are molded into this person that's so beautiful, so cute, so smart that everything is handed to them. The one thing about trading is the smarter you are, the harder it is for you to trade. I always thought of this because the more you're going to have to get out of your way to learn how to trade. Because you think you're so smart, you can solve every problem. And then you get to trading and you think it's a problem to solve. It's not a problem to solve. You can't solve trading in one day. You can't solve trading in 5 years, 20 years, 30 years. You'll still be trying to solve it. You got to solve trading every day you get on it. What happened yesterday is not going to happen today. What happened last year is going to be different. There's always a change. And that's why this is, one of the ways that's the easiest way to make money. I've seen people that don't go to high school that are multimillionaires in trading because they're always putting in their time. They're always learning the next thing. They're always understanding how the market's evolving. They're always listening to news and reading news articles because they see that like what's ahead of them, like the shutdown that we just came out of. So I want you guys to really challenge yourself on how much you can give back instead of expecting so much out of everything ever again. What can you get in and do? Joining the academy, what can I do? Okay, so Lonnie tells me that I need to watch the videos, right? To learn this. Lonnie's telling me to get on all the calls to learn this. So I do that. I do that because that's the way that Lonnie is saying that I'm going to be able to get over on this and win on this thing. Our holistic today is breathing. What do we do every day? The same thing. We breathe. Why? Because the more oxygen our brain has, the better it works. The less stress, the more calm. And when you're trading, it's about your mindset. Just like you need to learn a strategy, there's some people that don't even have a strategy. They naked trade, but their mindset is so strong that it's going to work out for them sometimes. So I want you guys to breathe right now. Deep breathe, breathe in, breathe out. Everybody should also have their water. Your body, your mind is 70% water. There's so many connections in your brain that need the water to connect to each other so your brain can fully function all together. So I want everybody to have their water. I want you to drink about 2 glasses of water in the morning, but you need to do that throughout the day to stay hydrated. So you're not dehydrated. Most of the problems in the body are caused by being dehydrated. Most of the diseases, most of the sicknesses, most of the muscle problems, most of the back injuries, most of the stuff, most of the brain injuries are caused because you don't have enough water. When you drink enough water, it gets everything out of your system. It gets all the detoxing things out of you. That's why God said what? Fast. Sometimes we need to fast. Sometimes we need to get off food, get off everything that's, even if we're eating perfect food for us, sometimes we just need to stop eating and only drink water. And there's so many times in the Bible where people were blessed because they fasted. One of the number one ones I'm thinking about when Jesus started his ministry, he was water baptized with the water. Then he was sent out to this desert. And what did he do? It said he fasted. But Jesus is fast. He didn't even need water. Moses, before he did his biggest stuff, he fasted. He was up there getting the 10 commandments from God to control his millions of people that were following him. And God sent him away to fast. A lot of the times we need to fast to get the stuff out of us, to get a clearer mind, to get our body to get over sicknesses and diseases and things like that. Thank you, Jesus, for that understanding. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. All right, we're on here, man, and this is going to be an amazing, amazing episode. We have some things that are just life-changing that we're into right now. The Academy, we're working on, the next part of this Academy. I'm talking to big, super huge leaders, and we're working on You know, how we can combine our technology with people that are going to bring in so many people. And it's going to happen pretty fast here. And this is what I'm planning on. So you guys just be ready. It's going to be something the owner of the company created something called swipe trade, to where you'll be able to take my trades that are on the robots, that are on the Trading View Telegram, or the live trades that I take. You'll be able to just swipe your phone like you're opening your phone, and it will take the trade for you. You have the preset, lots that you're going to trade. You have the 2% loss, 3% take profit if you want to set it up just like me. And all you do is you get a signal from Trading View or Telegram. You just swipe your phone and take the trade. I mean, this is going to be so amazingly simple to where you won't even have to decide like the lot sizes anymore, or the percentage. You don't even got to do that. You just push one button and it takes the trade for you. So that's going to solve a lot of people's issues on learning how to trade in the beginning. So today, we're at Forex Factory. We're always going to look at our news first. And this is just an amazing adventure that we're going to really be on. This is the 18th, and it says unemployment claims came in today, and this is probably because it usually always comes out on Thursdays. But maybe because of the government shutdown, maybe they're trying to update this. Maybe they're trying to update this. Maybe they're trying to update this. And that's all I could think. But release date delayed by 26 days due to the U.S. government shutdown. Source skip data released for the weeks of September, October again. This data pertains to the week ending on October 18th. So the claim right here is going to be for October 18th. When is today? Today is November 18th. So we're a month behind on this unemployment claim right here. So here we go. The last one before we're up in these 200,000 marks. 250,000 is like so completely out of the box. And we're at like 229 right here. They're going to start release date. Let's say, when are they going to release the other data to where we're all the way up on it? U.S. job claims total 232,000 in the weekend in October. So I don't even know why we would be stuck a month behind. Like, they don't have the technology, and they don't have, like they weren't counting unemployment this whole time. But this is what, we're gonna be dealing with right now. Factory orders. People are gonna start speaking again. Everything is back up and running. Now, is everything gonna be the same today? It's not gonna be the same today. We're going to have to wait like weeks for everything to be the regular market again. So I want you guys to be careful, because the regular market is not open. We see up here that the Forex market is not really moving. It's mostly consolidated. It's mostly consolidated here. This is a good one right here, GBP AUD. Remember, AUD is basically, tied 70% to like gold. So I could tell you right now that gold is moving probably a lot right now compared to everything else. So we know that. Let's look at the currency strength meters. Even though everything is kind of consolidated, it's going to still be the same. It's going to still be big ones and losers and everything like that. So we got AUD, Australia, really big, USD kind of low, and JPY still low on the bottom. Let's look at the live markets. We got gold going up right now. And this is what I've been looking at. It was going down right here. It crossed over this point. And you guys, I was studying this last night, but it crossed over right here. It was going down. It created a bottom support. The bottom support meets the top trend line that's a resistance, and what happens after they cross over. Once it crosses over, right, that's our strategy. This is part of some of this exclusive to our academy. Once it crosses over from the trend to the support or resistance, it's going to start going the other way. And that's what we got now. We're going up. The bot called it going up right here. Great call. We could have made big money on that. Here it is at a different time frames. Here goes an hour. We get all these sales. It's going down. And then the bot stops calling everything. It crosses over right here. We know to take this trade, go back up with it. It told us on a lower time frame. Here we go again where it was going down, 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 down. It's changing. It's changing directions right now. This is our gold spot. It hit right here. What did it hit? This is our support that we put, or this is the resistance. So the support was right here. It hit its bottom. We had a resistance on the top right here from when it was when the sellers were coming in. Every time it bounced back up. So now this turned into what? This turned into the support. It was the resistance and it turned into support. It came down here, hit the old resistance, turned it into a support, bounced off of it a couple times, and it might bounce off of it a couple more times and then try to get to this support line and start going back up. Gold is very unpredictable right now. The whole market is unpredictable right now. This is US 30. US 30 is going straight down. This is the opening market. Let's see how big it is because it's been very consolidated. And this new candle right here is worth 211. This is a big candle. It went down, it went up, and now it's back in the middle for US 30. Here goes Nas. Nas first went way up. Nas started right here. This is how we know where this candle started on opening market. It started right here, went way up, and then it went right back down. So everything is showing a doji formation with a minute and 30 seconds left. Every of the indices that we trade are showing the same thing. Let's go look inside and figure out the maps. What's going on with the maps? Now, today should be something that you guys are looking at. And it should be something that you're saying, this is like the warm-up day. Why do you think I didn't start trading right away? Some people were like, man, I thought we were going to start trading like we usually. No, this isn't. This is like a Monday or a Sunday. This isn't a regular day. This isn't a regular day. This is a day that we just came off of the shutdown, and this is the day that traders should start trading, right? But it's not even a good day to trade. This is a hard day to trade right here because everything is starting to come back. I guarantee you, probably in about 2 weeks, everything will be back to normal. It's going to get easier and easier back to the regular market day after day after day. But right now, this market is very, very different than the past. We only came down off of one shutdown that was even close to this, and it was during Trump's first term. This has never happened before. It's never been this long of a shutdown in the government ever in the history of America. The time before, just to get a close reference, was Trump's first presidency. It went 35 days. Now this time it went like 40-something days. It never happened. Like governments always open up within like almost a week. So we got NVIDIA down big today. We got Microsoft down big. We got Amazon down big. We got, what do we think is going to happen? We got the top 5 we always look at: NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and Walmart. They're like basically different industries, and that's what people don't understand. Like, this is the electric technology. NVIDIA and Apple are in that. Technology services, Microsoft is in that. Retail trade, Amazon and Walmart are in there. We don't have a financial instrument that's super huge. You know, Visa, JPM is pretty high, big, but it's not one of the top fives. We're always concerned about the top five because most of the market is moving because of the top five. Why? Because the top five also lead in the NASDAQ. And where do they put the top five up here? Now, one of the top fives is new, is Google. It hasn't made it to US 30, but they're trying to get it in as soon as possible. Remember, Nvidia just got in this US 30 because it got so big, and they put it in this year in the beginning of the year. So they switched something out, they'll put something else in. But what do we see here? The top five here again: Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Meta. These are what's going to drive, because these 5, 6 things are big. Tesla is one of the huge ones too. We go to the top 500, and it's the same thing over and over again. We're going to see those big guys being most of the market. These 4 guys, these 5 guys, Amazon, Tesla, we're going to have all this. So when we're looking at US 30, we see that it's going down. Now we got to look and say, what is going on? Now we're on the second candle, which I want to start trading on. But if we look right here, Nvidia's still going down. Walmart's still going down. Microsoft is still going down. Tesla's trying to rebound off coming down. So is it going to go back up? That's what we're looking at right now. We see all these green candles is going back up, but it's still falling down. So we need to take a sale here on the US 30. But we don't need to put in a lot of lot sizes. We don't need to do that, because the liquidity in the market is pulling it up right now. Because why? Because the big time people, the big traders, the big governments are forcing it right now to go up and kill everybody's stop loss. And as soon as it kills everybody's stop loss going up, it's going to shoot down really fast. So I'm going to go right now, and we're going to trade US 30 for a sale. We're going to be on the same lot sizes that we've been on for a little while. We're going to go 2% stop loss. And this is a hard trade. You know, this isn't for the weak at heart right here, everybody. This is a hard trade right here. So we're going down. We start off at $200 down. It's at 700, 7 something. It's moving pretty fast right now. Pull $900 out of the market, and we'll close that trade. Now let's look again. It looks like it's going to go down and continue to go down. But I'm concerned about this liquidity grab that the big guys were doing right here, pushing it up right here. And I'm thinking, are they going to do it again? Or is this the liquidity grab? That's why I didn't want to jump on the first 15 minutes on this trade. I'm looking at another trade for it to go down. And I want to be ready, and I want it to go up a little bit more. I want it to probably come up to this like level right here before I take it down again. I want to look around. And really be ready for it. As we see right here, and it might start going down just right here. We could have stayed in, but this liquidity grab, we don't want to be a part of that. We don't want to be a part of this new trade that's happening and how it's formulating. We want to get in where it starts going down, where it just continues to go down. That's when we really want to get into this trade and maximize this trade. We don't want to be part of this doji formula that where it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. And what I mean like is right here. At 9:30 yesterday, it started going down really quick. What happened in the opening bell? The opening bell did what? What did it do, everybody? The bot said, go and sell this yesterday. You guys didn't even need me yesterday at 6:30. The bot called out this call at 30-minute candles, and it said it's going down, right? Well, what happened? It went up the next candle. It went up the next candle. Some people would have been afraid it might have hit your stop loss. And then what did it do for the day? It started going down. When did it start going down? At 7:30 is when it started going down. And it was still flexing in between these two things that we had from last week. In between the support and the resistance, it was flexing. And then right here, where the bot told you to take it, right here where you could have took it, is where it fell down. This is the part that we want to be in right here. We don't want to be in this market right here to where it's going up and down, hitting our stop losses over and over and over again to build up the liquidity for the market to pay out these people that is going down right here. These people got drilled right here, but big investors didn't lose because their stop loss isn't like ours. They're not just worried about losing 2%. They could go and be in 12% negative and draw down and not worry about it. And then cash this big break right here. We don't have the drawdown like that. We got to draw down 2% and we're done, which is better for us because we take a 2% loss and it's not hurting our account. If you're down 30% on an account, you know how hard it is to get back to 100% where you started off at? But if you go up 30% on your account, you know how easy it is to continue in that process and be in profit and be living good? Just think about it yourself. You put 100,000 of your hard-earned money into the market. You go down 30%. You're at $70,000. It's going to take you a while to get back up to 100,000 to where you started out with. Wouldn't it be better if you just lost a couple of little trades and then you got in and started winning with our win percentage and got up 30%? Then when you take a loss, it's like, it's okay. I have $130,000 in here. I'm not worried. That's the way I'm teaching you guys, not with leverage, not with over leveraging, over marginalizing. I'm just saying we're straight up taking trades based on us winning or losing, 2% loss or 3% take profit. And when we're trading in the morning, I'm scalping. I'm not really scalping because I'm still trading like a day trader because we just seen this move 200 and it doesn't move like that over time. It takes so much time, but in 15 minutes, you'll get a 200 pip movement that you could capitalize on. So we're waiting for this to kind of come back up, and there's not a stable support. This is a support that's what? It's a support that's also doing the same thing right here. It's also going down. So sometimes, see, when there's lower lowers and there's higher lowers up here, these are the high where they're getting lower and lower and lower. Right here, it's high. It's going down. It's lower, right? And then on the bottom, the lower lowers, lower, lower. Then you're making something like this and you're creating an angle that's saying, like, how far is this really going to go? Because we know that with our strategy, when it starts hitting these things together, that's when it's usually going to start changing directions. But we got a steep decline on the support and the resistance right here. And so we believe this is going to keep on going down. And all we got to do is make sure that these maps aren't going to change up on us. Because if people start putting in all their money in stocks pretty soon, today, all this is going to change. But we got a good possibility that this is going to be a bloody day because the big guys are bleeding. There's one guy that's in the green. And these other ones are in the dark greens. They haven't went over 1%. We just got one person here that's 3%. And we got all these big things that are over and shining bright red. So we're looking for it to go down and we see it going down. But we want to get our trade at a certain level. We want to get our trade around this EMA or possibly around The MA. The MA is the moving average. This is the most used indicator in the world, this middle line. And we got the EMA, the exponential moving average. It's going to tell us faster what's going to happen. And what we see is it's bouncing off that right here and going straight down. It's bouncing off the look, the EMA is bouncing and going straight down. This is the last call we got on the 15 minutes. We could have got in at 5:30 and been taking this trade the whole time. The bot called it out right. So we need to wait for this to go up more before we get in for the day. I want to get in for the day for this thing to go down. But we need it to go up more. Here we go with gold. It was going straight up. That's not a movement. I wouldn't trade gold right now for a second, you guys. I would only take, gold when the bot calls it out. I was up last night trading. The bot called this trade out right here, and it didn't win. It switched up on us. It went down for a little bit, but we needed to go down more on the Autobot for this trade to win right here. It doesn't even take trades on Monday, but this trade won right here. It's a great trade that went down enough. This one right here kind of reversed on us. Just be careful with gold right now. It's not that simple to trade right now. Here we go on this US 30, and I'm looking for another US 30. Let's see if NAS is completely going down and SPX is completely going down. And let's look over the top 5 one more time. We got Apple started out higher and is going down really fast. We got Amazon still going down. And what do we see though? Even look, you can look at the red candle, but with Apple, it was consolidated and now it's starting to go down. The downtrend is 100%. The higher time frames, the downtrend is not established. It's an uptrend in the higher time frames on Apple. Amazon, 100% downtrend, 97% downtrend on the 4 hours, and it's in an uptrend on the daily still. Nvidia, down, and halfway going down on the big guy on the day. Here we go right here. This is an 100% uptrend on this time frame that we're on, but the daily is in a downtrend still. Got a lot of information here. How does that work right there? How could this be 100% uptrend on the hour and then on the day? This is why. Because on the day, for 6 candles, it's underneath the MA. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So it's a 98% downtrend. It barely just hit the MA. This is what controls if it's a downtrend or uptrend. If it's underneath this MA, it's in a downtrend. If it's over the MA, then it's in an uptrend. I want you guys to really understand that and establish what a trend really is. Here we go right here on the day. We see that it's always been in a downtrend, but if we look at the littler time frames on Microsoft, Microsoft is a good trade right now to trade going down. It's an 100% downtrend on this time, on the lower time frames, and on the highest time frame, it's 100% downtrend. Here we go with Tesla, almost the same thing. Looks like this is going to be a down day for a lot of stuff. And here is that it's going down right here. There was a little bit of a support right here that it was stuck at when we first started. Let's just remark this whole thing. And we could do it from the 1 hour. This is what this trade looks like. It looks like it's going down super fast for us right here. That's in the higher time frames. This is what we see. So we're thinking of what's going to happen. We're thinking it's going to keep on going down like this at this kind of slope rate. If you're a mathematical person, you can find the slope rate. I used to teach that in high school, right? But there's a slope right here that's continually happening until it breaks out of here. We can bet your bottom dollar this is going to be going down. I think this is going to be going down for the day. Can anybody unmute and tell me where the best way to take this trade would be? Where would the best way? Does anybody see what's happening? It's hitting this EMA. And like the bot called this trade right here to go down. It was a perfect one. It's hitting this EMA and it went straight down. So where do we want to get in the trade? Every time it's hitting this EMA, like right here, like over here, all this stuff, right here. Do you guys see what I see? Every time it hits this EMA, it's going down. Does everybody see that? So I don't want to get this trade right here because it's at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. What happens when it hits the bottom of the Bollinger Band? This line on the bottom right here, it goes back up. It goes back up. So we're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and the possibility is it's going to go back up at least to this EMA, and then that's a good trade right around here. But we see the EMA running down, so we can continue to catch it. We see the EMA running down. So we're going to wait for it to go a little higher, and then we're going to get back in this trade. And I might stay on a little bit longer. Want to see if it starts moving in an upward direction. That's a 244 movement on the first candle. The second candle is 5 minutes in, almost 3 minutes in. And it is moving, looks like at a slower rate. It's at 100, so we could have still got in this candle and got our 100 and felt really good about it. And now it's just falling down. But we know that it can only be outside of this Bollinger Band on the bottom for 5% of this whole trade. So if we look back 10 candles and you look back 10 again and you put this mathematical equation, it's only going to go out of this Bollinger Band for 5%. So we can see it right here. From here, let's just start right here. It went out of the Bollinger Band right here. It stayed out of the Bollinger Band. 3 candles were out of the Bollinger Band and it pushed its way back in. Stayed in. It went out of the Bollinger Band for 1 second right here and came right back in. This trade called it out. This is a bounce strategy trade. This is the number one trade you want to get right here. And then it stayed in here. It went out right here for 2 candles, came back in. Went out 1 candle, came back in. Right now, it came out of the candle right here, came back in really quick, and now it's outside of the candle. Is this a good trade to take going down right here when the candle color, the candle, full figure is outside of the no? This is a horrible trade. If you take this trade right here, 90% of the time you're going to lose this trade right here going down. Because what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. This trade, you take it right here, it's outside of this blue line. It's going to push its way back into the blue line. But the blue line is continually gravitating towards this downward trend. So eventually, if you took this trade right here and you had enough, spread on here for yourself to where you're not going to lose on a quick turnaround, because what's going to happen is going to turn around and get back up here, and then it's going to continue to fall. That's what it looks like right now. So every trade is not a good trade. We need to go back up. And remember, today is a bad day to trade. Today is a horrible day to trade. It's horrible. Because we just came off the shutdown. Everything's starting to evaluate. Big companies are trying to pull a lot of liquidity out of the market so they could take their profits. If there's no profits from people losing, then you can't win. You're not going to win big if not a lot of people are losing Small amounts. That's how you got to look at this market. The big players that are going to make a whole lot of money, they got to make it off the people losing. Where does the money come from? Does the market just pay out out of thin air like the American government does? No, the market can't write a check like that it can't cash. Only Americans government really does that. There's not too many governments around the world that are not controlled by another government that could just write checks and just let them bounce. And so why did it go up like that? This is something we have to know. Why did it go up first before it went down? It's because it was pulling all that liquidity, and so they could pay out all these people that are in these long-term trades going down. A lot of people today, I heard a lot of traders, they were saying, oh, the US 30 is going up. I said it's not going up. I already thought. I was like, nah, I don't think it's going up today. They thought that the government shutdown was going to stop and everybody's going to get into the stock market and start buying everything. No, no, no. There's a lot of problems in these markets right now. AI is taking over a lot of jobs. That creates more money for the companies. But guess what? A lot of people don't have money to what? To buy stuff anymore. So that's why some of these things are going down, 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 down. If we could be patient and wait, the market's going to go up. And then that's when we want to take it down. And here it goes right now. It's going back up. What did I say was going to happen? That it was going to go back up in this blue line right here. And that's exactly what happened. Let's see if this is if any of these are moving. Apple's trying to go up green. Amazon just went up green to what? To get back in what? The Bollinger Band. To get this went red. What is it trying to do? Get back up in the Bollinger Band. So if we could just wait for things to get back up in this Bollinger Band, all the major 5 guys, then we could take it back down with them. Once they get in, then it's going to go back down. It's going to be a bloody day today. Everything is red. We just got to get in the right trade. We can get in a trade right now and it will work out good for us if we just stay in the trade. It's down 500 right now. This might be a day. It looks like it's going to be a day that's going to be on the news where they're going to say, man, the stocks lost so many billions of dollars today. It's already looking like that. Look at the NAS 100 down 400. SPX is the most stable one, right? The easiest thing to trade because it barely is going to move, but you're going to make your money off of it. But look at how the US 30 took off. It's almost at 600. NAS 100 is at 400. And then the SPX is at 73. So we just have to wait a little bit longer. Just trying to ride this Bollinger Band right here. There's not a lot of buyers in this market right now. Everybody is looking at these red maps and they're saying, man, listen, we're just going to have to go down. The people that lost thinking it was going to go up and up and up, these two-way traders that were trying to take it both ways are losing. They're getting slaughtered right now. So what time is it? It's 7. I'm going to stay on for about 10 more minutes. If it goes back to where we want it, we'll take the trade. If not, we'll be back tomorrow and the markets are going to be correcting themselves and it's going to get back to our strategy that works in the regular market. Our strategy also works in this market that's corrupted and weird, but we don't want to take the loss when it starts going the wrong way and everybody's saying, well, why didn't it go up? Everybody thought US 30 was going to go up today. It didn't. People got slaughtered. If anybody traded the US 30 going up today and it dropped that much, they lost a whole lot of money, especially if they're leveraging or they really thought they're going to come in and smash this. And man, the market's back open. It's not going to work out for them. Maybe if somebody took an advanced trade, this is advanced master trade, to take the trade when it's outside of the Bollinger Band to go back in the Bollinger Band. The only thing is that when you take that master trade, you got to look at a lot of circumstances because it can keep on going down. Like we could have took this trade right here. It's outside the Bollinger Band. Okay, we're going to take it going back up. Guess what? It never really went back up except for if we would have stayed in this long, and then we could have cashed out with just a little bit of money. But what we see is it bounced in and then kept on going down. Because this candle right here, if you would have took this candle and said, hey, the next candle's going up because it's outside the Bollinger Band, you would have lost because it's a big candle still going down. You got to know when to take it. So we got about 10 more minutes. If it doesn't get close to that orange line back where we can make some money when it goes back down, there's no reason to take this trade. It's actually safer not to take this trade. So some of this, like the shutdown's not going to happen again, right? But it's good that we knew how to trade during the shutdown, because if not, we would have got drilled. And even if it gets around the Bollinger Band again, we could take a trade. We just need to lower our lot size and be able to stay in the trade longer, because what could happen is it can go all the way up to this MA. And as long as we got our stop loss set to be able to hit this MA with a littler lot size, so we got more time on that 2%, which means what? The lower the lot size is, the more or the less we're losing and the less we're going to win. And we just have to take that today because this is an unstable market and it's okay. We got to be happy with that. We got to be happy with just a little bit of the market's money today. You know, anybody trying to pull out all the market's money today, um, man, unless they were on the other side of the coin and they were thinking this was going to go down, like us, they lost a lot, man. A lot of people or traders are going to be on, online today talking about how much they lost and this was a bad day because of the stop, because of the shutdown, and they thought this and they thought that, and it didn't happen the way they thought. Let's look at the auto bot, what it's doing right now. It takes trades on the 1 hour, 4 hours, and day. Look at this right here. If you guys would have took this 4-hour trade, it told us it was going down. This is going to be a beautiful trade. This means that it's going to be going down for hours and hours and hours. 1 to 3 on average. 1 to 3 candles is going to be going down. So if we look at it right here, it told us it was going to sell. It started going down right here. This doesn't look like a big move. Let's measure it and see what it is from here to here. What do we see? We see 900 right here. 900 off $1. Here goes the new candle that's starting out right here, and it's kind of like a doji is sending out for us. One candle, 2 candles, 3 candles on average. You're going to be in this trade. You could be in it longer, but this looks like that in the next candle, it's going to take that drop and at least go back to something like this right here, in between here and here. That's big money for us right here off of 1 lot. Remember, I just traded 5 lots. So if I would take this trade going down and it got back to the candle where it told us it was going down, it doesn't even have to hit, this last resistance that turned into the support right here and started hitting and going back up. But we got to be able to predict that it's going to go at least to here, but it'll probably go down to this red line. Which if we took a 5-lot trade on this right here, we would have made $25,000. We would have made $25,000 off of a move just of that short, hitting here, and it's going to probably bounce back up after this. It's been in between this little level right here, hitting this going down, hitting this going back up since Friday. Since Friday. Since Friday, it's been going here to here. And that's gold. So the bot really, called out this gold really good, but it hit our X strategy right here and went up for a while. And US 30 is just falling out of the Bollinger Band still. But what does it do? It only comes out and goes back in with the main candle. Only the wicks going out because it comes back in before the candle closes. So now we can get in a trade, and now it's right here. The EMA was up here before. It was up here before. Now it's going down, down, down. So if it comes up, we can get in right here. But that looks like it's still going down. It's great that we knew it was going down. Did we really capitalize, make a lot of money off it going down? No, we just took a little trade and it worked out for us, which is beautiful, but we didn't take any losses. We predicted the right way. We live on. We're stronger. We're more knowledgeable. We're wiser about the market that it's in right now. And we did a good job today as a team. Our strategy worked, and we can predict that our strategy will continue to work. All right, you guys. God bless you guys. I'm going to stay on here probably for, another hour or so, 45 minutes. And still try to knock this trade out. We'll close down this. Here it goes again. Amazon's going back down. Apple's starting to go back down. Nvidia's starting to go back down. Walmart's going down. Microsoft just started going back down. Tesla's going back down. Google's going up a little bit. Meta's going down. So the big guys, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 big guys are almost all going down but one. What do we think is going to happen? We think it's going to continue. We think it's going to continue. This today is probably going to be a news. It's going to probably be all over the news, and we learned first. And it's great because it's going to help us in our future. God bless you guys. Love you guys. Bye.